Hi, today we will be discussing the articles that fall under GS3 like economy, environment, science and technology related articles, but purely this article is economy based article of 30th August. So this article goes like challenges of sub-national fiscal discipline. So what is meant by this fiscal discipline? You know that center levies certain taxes, imposes taxes, collects taxes, and state also imposes taxes. And earlier there was a separate taxation for state was empowered to impose taxes in the form of VAT, and many indirect taxes were there from which state could earn revenue. But after the rolling of this GST, it is like uniform taxation system all over India with concurrent power over different entities for both center and state, and of course many were decided GST slab rates were fixed based on the decisions made in the GST Council, that is headed by the Prime Minister, followed by the Finance Minister and CMs and Finance Secretaries of various states, in which voting takes place and weightage is given as per the sharing of funds, of course, from center to state. The transfer of grants and funds is also taking place based on different indicators and parameters based on the certain parameters, like the 15th Finance Commission has said different parameters over which the borrowal of these funds takes place. Up to 41% was given, and yes, because 1% earlier it was 42% and now 41%, because that 1% taxes earned income is to be spent on the Jammu and Kashmir, for which the special status was revoked recently under Article 370 got diluted. So anyhow, so this all takes place, the GST and everything, but whatever the funds the states are receiving, are they really worth spending in an efficient manner? You can observe, like in Andhra Pradesh, many freebies are being distributed, mainly not as commodities but in the form of DBTs, direct benefit transfer. So rather than commodities, giving directly as DBTs, like you can say it falls as income support. Is it really worth commendable act? Yes, of course it is, especially in case of women. Like he has given this scheme like YSR Asara, wherein SHGs or Dwakra groups, you can know, wherein women get financially empowered. They form as a group, they take loans for forming their own business entities, and like the shit funds, they pay every month. All the group members pay certain amount every month, and the cumulative amount is put as collateral with backed by their signatures and assets or whatever by the trust to the bank, and get more amount as a loan for one particular individual he takes and commits to the business, and in rotation that takes place for the entire members of the scheme. However, to support such women, because they won't be having any financial backing, or even for empowering them, there is no collateral as such. For empowering women financially, previous government has assured to pay or loan waiver of certain amount in their loan, but that has not taken place. So under the scheme called YSR Asara, the government has decided to just give certain loan waiver to these SHG group. So in that way it is commendable because it is empowering the women. But yes, we will be discussing about physical correction, but that is commendable on one part, but on the other part you can observe that giving lot of transfer payments as such in the form of income support or DBTs, this is heavily impacting the economy of the state. You can know about this debt to GDP ratio or debt to GSDP ratio. GDP means the production value, monetary value of the final production of goods and services within the country, in that meaning. So the amount earned, that is in terms of monetary value, is called as GDP. So the all the amount that is obtained through GDP, it is circulated within the people, and it is reinvested for the further production of the economy. But the debt to GDP ratio must be low for a healthy economy, but the situation is reverse in many states, especially in Andhra Pradesh, wherein it is very high. That means whatever the amount it is reaping in terms of GDP, including taxes or the revenue, that amount, much of the amount is not much, even 100% and beyond that also is going for repaying the previous loans. And even the new borrowings that are taken by the government, these are usually to be utilized for creating capital expenditure, not for revenue expenditure, which is meant by transfer payments, whereas capital expenditure is like investment that leads to the good repaying of further production process, but this is not taking place. So even the new borrowings, external commercial borrowings or securities borrowings, or by issuing bond papers they get money, so whatever that is being obtained, that all is not at all being used for capital expenditure, rather it is going as a revenue expenditure to pay the previous loans, and that situation is to be avoided. So Supreme Court has ordered to make to legislate a law not to make such pre-poll promises or DBTs or income support or transfer payments as such, which is really stressing the economies of the state in the long run, which are not very good for the economy. Of course, good at one part for empowering women, like a YSR Asara scheme, SHGs as such, but not very good in the long run, because the amount which is given to the poor, it obviously gets circulated within themselves, and of course the commodities rates will be increased because everyone is having money, so the demand will be more, but the production, factories production, industries are very less in AP, and of course even for imports also we need to pay amount and get the imports, the commodities. So the Sri Lankan crisis as such may be reflected or may also be getting soon in any state of the country. So that financial prudence, fiscal prudence is very important, and cooperative federalism is very much needed in this crisis, wherein the center has to just nudge the states on how far they must go with respect to the DBTs and freebies and welfare oriented schemes, and how better they can just make growth towards increasing their finances as such. So this article goes discussion on this, and of course RBI mulls, like that means it thinks fraud registry to help banking fraud. So fraud registry is basically a portal wherein the zero click attacks or 0 day attacks, in the sense the individual or the phone user doesn't know, or without his entry or without his any click, zero click, without his anything done on the device, yet his data gets compromised, his data is stolen by the spy. So that is called zero click attack. And 0 day attack, in the sense many organizations have their own OS or software systems, and even before they can identify their loopholes in the OS, or even before they tend to repair those loopholes, these loopholes are taken advantage by the spies, and they just loot over the data, and the data is stolen as such. So that such sort of fraudulent cases are quite frequent, and of course not only in that sense, clicking on any link like spamming, phishing as such instances, our data is getting leaked, and of course we are losing money as such. So in that case RBI has just designed this fraud registry, wherein the details on the names and phone numbers of all those fraudsters will be there, and these are given to the cops, who then blacklist them, and of course also to the payment system operators like the Paytm, and also that they take care that the customers are not impacted by these fraudsters. So these are all the articles that are related to GS3 today.